Under the vastness of the Human Federation's star map, few figures carry a reputation as polarizing as King Jieli, the so-called King of Interception. To many ordinary Earthlings, his arrival marked the beginning of an oppressive era. But to understand why he acted with such unrestrained arrogance, one must trace his roots back to two forces that shaped his identity: overwhelming personal strength and a background intertwined with the most terrifying tiers of cosmic authority. Before stepping foot on Earth, King Jieli had already ascended to the high-level Immortal King realm. In the universe's cultivation hierarchy, immortals stand as transcendent existences, far above common life forms, and immortal kings hold the right to command entire star regions. On a planet like Earth, whose native experts were only beginning to touch the threshold of world-level cultivation, the arrival of an immortal king was akin to a god descending among mortals. For a world that had only just opened its doors to the wider cosmos, King Jieli's presence instantly overshadowed every native force. He knew this, and he used it. But raw strength was only the surface of his confidence. What truly elevated him beyond accountability was his bloodline. His ancestor was none other than the Lord of Void Gold, one of the peak existences among human universe masters. This connection alone carried immeasurable political weight. It granted King Gelli the right to oversee Earth's interstellar immigration under the Giant Axe Arena. Together with the virtual universe company's King Feng Chen, he presided over the floating city suspended above Earth's oceans, an artificial sanctuary where off-world elites lived as if the planet were their playground. Earth had only become a migration destination after countless factions paid a steep price to obtain quotas from Chaos City Lord. Yet among all these powers, King Jieli stood higher because of who stood behind him. His authority was not earned through contribution or merit. It was inherited, bestowed by lineage, and he wielded it with a heavy hand. To him, Earthlings were weak natives, insignificant compared to the galaxy-spanning forces he represented. Even though Luo Feng's meteoric rise had begun to attract attention, Earth as a whole was still a fledgling world. It lacked immortal-level defenders, lacked cosmic influence, and lacked the ability to resist the will of higher powers. King Jieli saw its people as vassals, useful but undeserving of respect. So he allowed the immigrants under his jurisdiction to behave lawlessly. They roamed Earth's cities as if sightseeing, but they seized land and resources, casually bullied locals, and even detained Earthlings under fabricated pretenses. In the floating city, they acted as privileged conquerors, and Gelli encouraged it. After all, establishing dominance over Earth strengthened his image, and fear was a currency he understood well. His arrogance reached its peak when Luo Feng's own son, was detained for an entire day, supposedly for identity verification. But behind this excuse was a more malicious intent. King Gelli wanted to send a message that even the family of Earth's greatest genius lived under his shadow. He believed Luo Feng was still only a world lord, far beneath him in the cosmic order. Luo Feng's body was often away, fighting in distant theaters, and his alternate identities hid the extent of his power. To King Jieli, this meant Luo Feng was a talented junior at best, someone who should bow rather than stand as an equal. This miscalculation shaped his downfall. He pushed harder, growing more dismissive even after Luo Feng's true body returned to Earth. He never restrained himself, for he believed he didn't have to. His confidence came from the unspoken rule of the universe. You do not casually kill someone protected by a universe master. If Luo Feng harmed him, it wouldn't be a personal dispute. It would be a political affront to the Lord of Void Gold, a being whose power far eclipsed anything Luo Feng possessed at the time. King Jieli knew this. He counted on it. He believed the threat of cosmic conflict would keep him untouchable. Behind him stood not just his ancestor, but also a collective of wealthy and powerful young elites from various factions, children of immortals, descendants of great clans, heirs of cosmic corporations. They were a nest of hornets woven together by shared privilege. To strike him would be to strike all of them. And so he acted without fear. He oppressed Earthlings openly. He manipulated immigration rules to his advantage. He set his subordinates loose to commit atrocities. He humiliated Luo Feng's family to demonstrate his supremacy. He believed that the universe's political web would always protect him. But what King Jieli failed to understand was that the universe does not stay stagnant. Genius can become greatness. Greatness can transcend into the unimaginable. Luo Feng was not simply a rising talent. He was a storm quietly gathering strength beyond what any immortal king could foresee. By the time King Jieli realized this, Earth was no longer the same fragile world he once trampled on. It had a guardian whose strength had silently surpassed the limits of his imagination. The foundation upon which he built his arrogance crumbled in an instant, and his supposed immunity, his identity, his background, his inherited authority could not save him from the consequences of the humiliation he inflicted. King Jieli dared to oppress Earthlings because he believed himself untouchable, a ruler among insects. But the universe has a way of reminding even immortal kings that no amount of privilege or lineage can protect them forever, not when they challenge someone destined to stand at the apex. And on that day, the King of Interception finally learned who truly held the right to decide Earth's fate. In the end, the rise and fall of King Jieli became a stark reminder of a truth woven through the entire Swallowed Star universe. Strength may grant authority, background may grant privilege, but neither can shield someone forever from the consequences of their own arrogance. Earth, once dismissed as a backwater planet, would go on to produce a titan who reshaped the human race's destiny. And those who once trampled upon it would become footnotes in a story far greater than they ever imagined.